Fran with Locally Owned and Locally Grown, and we're sitting down today with the owners of Progressive Auto Group, Tim and Craig Sanders. Let's go see what they're up to. Hello.
Come on in.
Are you ready for some heat?
Yes.
Well, hey guys, thanks for taking a minute to sit down with us. For those of the people watching that don't know, who are you? What's your deal? Who's Tim? Who's Craig? Tell us about that.
That's a good question. Who are we? Well, I'm Craig Sanders.
And I'm Tim Sanders.
And we are partners. We own Progressive Auto Group. That's Progressive Chevrolet, Progressive Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram Truck, which are both on Hills and Hills Road in Massillon. And then we have the Economy Auto Outlet, which is down by Menards and Tractor Supply off of Route 21, and Star Wash Car Wash, which is on Wells Road, right kind of across the street.
Yeah, so you guys have really branched out, really grown over the years, huh? Sounds like you. How long have you guys been in business?
Well, we started 4 generations of family members have owned Progressive Auto Group, which was started in 1937.
In 1937. Oh boy. So you guys, it's safe to say, are bringing the youth to the new vibe.
I'd like to think that, but I'm almost 50, so I don't know if youth is considered.
I mean, for our listeners,
50, yeah.
youth is, subjective.
Yeah.
So
It's just a number.
it's just a number.
that's
It's
all
just
it
a
is.
number. So no judgment there. But I always want to ask, because obviously you guys took the business over. So you guys became the 4th generation. So how did that come about? Did you always want to run the business, or how did you guys decide this is what I'm going to do?
You want to?
Well, I think each of our stories are a little bit different, but I would say that neither one of us really wanted to get into the business. I'll speak for myself. I never thought I was going to be in the business. I wanted to be a veterinarian or an architect. That's kind of what I wanted to do, and I would say one thing kind of led into the other, and
Now you're here.
I'm here.
You don't have a choice now. You're locked in.
I'm locked in. So
I think that's great.
Yeah.
What about you? What did you want to do? You were Mr. Wall Street, weren't you?
I was. Yeah. Well, I didn't. I wasn't planning on doing this either. But after I graduated from college, or actually before I graduated from college, I asked my dad if I could get a suit. And because I didn't have one at the time, and I thought, well, I need a suit to go on interviews and talk to different companies or whatever. And he and I had a conversation, and then I started working here. And he basically said, why don't you try it for a year? And if you like it after a year, then great. If you don't like it after a year, then go do whatever you want, because you're still a young guy and you can go do whatever you want.
Heck yeah.
So, I'm 47.
We know.
Been here since 1997.
Wow.
So
For our listeners, that makes me 7.
yeah.
Just a baby.
I was just a baby
Yeah.
then. But hey, once
Yeah.
again, age is just a number. But, that sounds like it really kind of was like organic the way you guys came into it. It was your own decision. It wasn't something that somebody made you do, so that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And I guess, so when you guys did start here, what did you start out doing? Or when you were in high school, did your dad say, you're going to work at the dealership?
Yeah. During summer, there was a couple summers where I came in and cleaned up cars and moved cars around on the lot and did that for a couple of years. And then once I did decide to work at Progressive, I started in the service department, was a service advisor for pretty close to 2 years, and then kind of went into different departments from there.
So you got to try it out.
Got to
and
try it
know
out.
all the departments, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Craig? Did you get to do anything like that?
Very similar. Yeah, after college, I started working here and worked in every department. I forget when I started actually selling cars, but sold cars for a couple, 2-3 years, and then another position became available, and I was able to get that job, and then just sort
you
of.
guys worked for it, you definitely came in and you had to know the stuff before you started doing it.
But I think the summer jobs, because I worked here maybe one summer as like a little kid, and then one summer as like a high school kid, or maybe a freshman in college or something. And I thought, I don't ever want to do this. like, this is not for me.
Well, and-
it was, you know,
And it was a long line
there's a
of
lot.
hard people, obviously, you guys being the fourth generation. So, you know, was there pressure on that?
Well, I mean, I was patching potholes in the parking lot, and I was painting garage doors, and I
Yeah.
was, you know, doing things that it's like, oh my God, these are all things that need to be done.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to have your facility look nice, and
Right.
it's all important, and someone needs to do it. It's hard
So
work.
it's going to be the boys.
It's
It's going to be the boys.
Yeah, but you know, you
Yeah.
you learn a lot about what you want to do. Sometimes the stuff that's hard is the stuff that helps define, you know, what you want to do. When
Heck
you
yeah, and that's awesome. That's like, I'm sure at the time you weren't thinking, this is a really helpful experience to me. But now, looking back, you probably can say that. Like, I'm glad I did that stuff. I'm glad I did all the things and got to learn more about the business and what it was.
I mean, little things like you see, like right now we're resealing our parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to patch the holes in the parking lot from potholes and stuff. So you look at the lot and you think, we need to repair this.
Yeah.
It
Your whole
you know?
mindset changes from those things. Absolutely. When you see the little details that go into something, and especially when you take over a business, you see a whole lot more. And the fact that you got to be in the mix and do all that. So that's great. Another question that I guess I would always ask is like, since this wasn't what you always wanted to do, and the family had been doing it for a long time, where was the original store? For those that don't know, like where's the origin of Progressive?
Well, go ahead, Craig. You're the history guy.
well,
He's
so
like, ah.
we moved to Massillon actually in 1939. So we were
Okay.
incorporated in 1937 in Wilmington, Ohio.
Okay.
And we moved to Massillon in 1939, and in 1975 we moved to Hills and Dales Road, which at the
Wow.
time was not, I guess it was not annexed by Massillon. So
Okay.
it was just outside of the city limits, and then at one point, I believe my dad and my uncle were asked to join, and I'm not sure how that works exactly, but the city said, you know, we'd like to acquire this area or whatever, and they had to sign off on it, so that it became part of, you know, like the city of Massillon.
Awesome. So it's safe to say, like, your roots are very solid in Massillon. Like, you guys have been here a long time, so that's pretty cool. And you guys have had a very successful, I would say, you know, transition to power. So that's kind of cool and something to be proud of. So, you know, over the last years, what would you say your most proud moment is of being, you know, the leader of this company, being the owners? You know, what would you say you're most proud of?
I mean, I think the interesting thing that I have seen, or I guess that I'm proud of, is to see, like, it's not just the Sanders family that's involved with Progressive. There's a lot of other families
Yeah.
that have other generational parts that are involved in the dealership, or even sometimes even the same generation. So it's kind of cool to see that it's not just our family involved in the business.
And there's a lot of people that care.
Yeah, I think it adds to our culture and what we stand for, and I guess I'm proud of that. I'm
That's
proud to see
awesome.
the people
Yeah.
that work here and seeing not only them succeed, but then more parts of their family succeed too.
Right.
I mean,
That's awesome. And what about you, Craig? What are you most proud of?
Well, so very few people, like when they're kids, have like a picture of them working at a dealership on their wall. They might have a picture of like a firefighter
Yeah,
or a police
yeah,
officer,
yeah.
or, you know, I want to be a doctor or an attorney or something like that. So we get a lot of people who apply to work here that really don't know anything about what happens at a car dealership.
Right.
You know, or they think that, you know, they're applying for, you know, something else or whatever, and they wind up here, right?
That was me.
So
That was me.
there's a few people.
That was
yeah,
me. And I'm going 10 years strong.
to see people who, you know, basically they I don't know, you know, if it's luck or whatever, but we get lucky a lot with a lot of the people that we hire. We try to find the right spots for them
Sure.
to flourish, you know, based off of their personality, based off of their skills. And then we try to figure out, you know, how to train and how to get them, you know, to be successful.
Sure.
And we have many people, I think, that are probably, because of, you know, working at a car dealership, and maybe it's because we put them in the right spots, and we talk a lot with our employees to try to figure out what they like, what they don't, whatever. But they're the most successful people in their families.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I do.
Like their mom and dad didn't go
Yeah.
to college or
Yeah.
whatever, but they did, and now they're working here and they're
Absolutely.
making more money than they ever dreamt because they have a career. They have a path of like growth. And
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And, because you really just bring me to my next question, which is, I was going to ask you, what's the culture like at Progressive? I know what the culture is like. I work here. But, give me a word. Give me one word to describe the culture of Progressive. Can you do that? Can you do one word? Can you do one word? Can you do it?
I don't know if I can do one word. I'm thinking a
Give us
couple
a
words,
word then. Go
but
ahead. Let's have
yeah.
it. Come on. What would you describe the culture of Progressive? Because you did a really great job just telling us about it. And I just wondered if there was a way you could sum it up, if it's even possible.
I'm gonna say fun.
Fun. I love it. I agree.
I can't. I mean, I can do 4.
Okay, let's see
Yeah.
it. 4 words.
It's like
Which is
work
not
hard,
what I
play
get.
hard.
Work hard,
Work hard,
play hard.
Like we want to work
Yeah.
hard, but then we want to have fun.
Yeah.
We want to get rewarded for our work, and then we want to enjoy life.
Absolutely.
And we really try to figure out. I mean, our sales staff for the most part has a 40-hour work week.
Yeah.
I don't think there's another car dealership maybe on the planet that has a scheduled 40-hour work week.
Yeah.
And we did that to try to figure out how to get life and work balance.
Yeah.
And that's important,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're trying to keep people to grow and like have a career.
Absolutely.
It's not easy.
Yeah. For
but
sure.
It works.
And that's a great as an employee here, I can attest to that though. And like the fact that the door is always open and I know that I could come to either one of you, and that's a big testament to your culture. And you have a lot of employees that stick around, and I think that's great. I think everything you said was just perfect. So far, you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then, maybe now for a little easier question. So what was your first car? You guys are car people now. So, what was your very first car? Do you remember? I know it was a long time ago.
Mine was a Pontiac Grand Am.
Yeah.
Pontiac Grand Am. That was Alyssa's first car.
Yeah, Pontiac Grand Am, and I did back into a friend of mine's parents' mailbox.
Excellent.
Whenever a kid gets a car, you figure that they're gonna hit something. Mine was it literally was a mailbox.
Excellent.
So,
We're aiming for it, obviously.
no.
What's crazy is I remember the Grand Am.
But you don't remember yours?
I don't remember what I really don't. I mean, I'm gonna say like a Chevy like Corsica or something like that. If anybody remembers what a Chevy Corsica is.
I can't picture it in my head, but I know it exists and I know the name.
It was a little tank, I'll
Okay.
say that much.
Okay, well now, as obviously years have gone by, I'll ask, what is your favorite car
Oh,
now?
man.
Like in the market today. It doesn't have to be anything you sell, or it could be, it's up to you.
Okay.
Favorite car?
Well, I'll start. I would say it's a Wrangler 392.
Those are nice.
And it's probably the funnest thing I have ever driven.
That's pretty cool.
I get happy every time I hop in. I drive it. I like the rumble. I like the speed. I like it's a one touch, it opens up. I'm exposed to the elements within seconds. And I think it's a 0 to 60 in like 4.5
Cool, very cool.
seconds or
So
something.
it's totally worth being your favorite car.
It's
right
my favorite
now.
car.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
And you, Craig?
Well, I used
I
to
knew
drive-
this might be a little.
Yeah, I used to drive cars, and I like a fast, sleek car.
Sure.
But I've been driving pickup trucks probably for the last 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
And I like to go mountain biking, so I can easily throw my bike in the back and just go. And so I think it's a pickup truck.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, and here, if it's all right, I'd like to transition to current affairs, if that's okay. Because there's a lot of big things coming down the pipeline, right? And first let me ask you this. Where do we see Progressive in 10 years? Can we answer that question right now? Do we have a plan that we're like hoping for, or a goal that we're hoping for right now?
Sure.
Hit me with it.
Sure. Well, so we have about 4 more years, and so we bought our dad and our uncle out, and it's expensive to buy a car dealership. So to have them basically paid off after about 4 years, at that point, then we would really like to be able to go out and buy other dealerships and provide opportunities for the employees,
Awesome.
for them to advance and maybe have part ownership
Yeah.
or something like that in other dealerships that we buy.
So ultimately, the
over
goal.
the next over
growth.
the next 4 or 5 years, we would really like to start ramping up those efforts.
Awesome. That sounds like, the sky's the limit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I hope to see that too. I hope to still be here with you guys. So keep me around. Hope this interview is going well. Hope it's going well. So, well, okay. And so I guess probably for a lot of the people watching, they're probably thinking, well, gosh, that's a car dealership and they just had a massive chip shortage, So how's that been for you guys? Like, I know how it's been for us, where are we feeling about that? Or how are we feeling about that? And how big of an effect do you think it's had on us as Progressive?
You want to go after that one?
Yeah, I would say it kind of changed the dynamics a little bit. Rather than having a bunch of vehicles on the lot, it's now, I think, created an environment for customers that come in to be able to order more of exactly what they want,
Yeah.
which is kind of a unique thing that's come out of it. I think the chip thing will eventually get sorted out and figured out. I just don't know when. If it's going to be in the near future or in the distant, who knows, future.
We're hoping for the near future.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, there's some things that have come out of it that I see that'll be a positive. It'll be an interesting journey though in the next year or two, how it's all going to shake out. But I do see that there's been some things that are unique for customers to be able to, how they buy and what they're able to buy out of it,
Okay.
which are positives.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's maybe made it more of a creative sales process than it was before.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
gotta get a little bit more creative with the way
Yeah.
things are done. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so obviously we can't say that the chip shortage is a failure on anyone's part, other than things happen. So I tell everybody when you're talking about something like that, we can't control what's happening out and around us. We're just living in it, right? So
Right.
and sometimes that creates failures in our businesses or failures in general. And I'm sure you guys have suffered failure at times. Would you say yes
Sure.
to that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not gonna ask you to name your failures unless you want to. But what I will say is, could you explain us how you handle something that is a failure? What's your mindset when something's failed? When you create a plan, it didn't go through. What's your mindset? Where do you go and how do you overcome it?
Well, so I think, so both of us wrestled in high school.
Okay.
And it's a one-on-one where you're either going to win or lose, and all eyes are on you. There's nowhere to hide. And I think that sport really taught us how to handle failure. Because you're no matter.
It's a 50-50 shot. You're gonna lose.
Well,
You're
and
gonna win.
if you're out there competing against the best of the best, eventually you're going to find somebody that's probably better than you.
Sure.
So you're going to get beat. So if you get beat and then you kind of curl up into a little ball and hide, odds are you're not going to be able to get back out there again and
Right.
try to win.
Right.
So when you get hit, it's kind of like when you get beat or you have a plan that didn't go over quite well. It's kind of like getting hit. You got to get back up again.
Absolutely.
And if you keep getting back up, eventually you're going to find something that does work. It just might take falling down a few times,
Yeah.
or more,
Yeah.
to be able to get to that kind of like thing
That's
that does
an
work.
excellent way to look at it. Do you feel the same way, Tim?
I think that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah.
Same experience. I mean, you get knocked down and you just got to keep getting back up. And I think, going back to what I said about employees, I think you also lean on some of their thoughts and what they think too, and it gets everybody involved in it. And through other people's experiences, you figure it out.
Yeah.
You just gotta,
We all grow together when we work together,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
just got to keep moving forward
Yeah.
and learn from those experiences and not repeat it.
Yeah. But if you're not failing, you're
Mhm.
probably not trying hard enough.
There you
Yeah.
go.
You're not pushing.
You're not going
Yeah,
out there
that's a
and-
great.
yeah.
Way to
had,
say that.
my uncle, he said to me one time, and this is one of those, like, you remember certain things,
Yeah.
you know. He says, if it doesn't feel like it's chaos all the time, Craig, then you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, if you're not
You're not standing.
trying different
yeah.
things all the
Yeah.
time, you're probably not pushing hard
Yeah.
enough.
You can't win if you're not standing in the arena, right?
Right?
Exactly. And that's that. I take that mindset too. I always think if you don't put yourself out there, you cannot win, right? So that's awesome that you guys have adapted that and obviously made it a practical use in your life. And a lot of people don't have that, so that's pretty cool. You should both be very proud of that. So hopefully you are. So you know, but the other thing I want to know and kind of go into a little bit is, so do we think that you're going to hand this down to your family? Do we think there's going to be a fifth generation? Because you guys are almost 50. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I hope I still have a job at the end of this.
Well, I have two kids, and they're young. I have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, and I'm educating them, and my wife and I are working with them as if they're going to chase their dreams. And I don't know if this is going to be a dream of theirs. I don't know if they're going to want to go and do something entirely different. I have no idea what they're going to do, but they're going to. We talk to them as if they're going to go and follow, whatever their
Dream is.
their thing is.
Yeah. That's
Or
cool.
go after whatever their dream
All right. Yeah, I would say I don't have like daily conversations or conversations really at all about them getting into this business. They need to find their own path, and it was kind of like what Craig and I said earlier, where it wasn't something that we necessarily wanted to do, but it just kind of happened that way. So if it happens that way for them, it happens. Same thing. They need to go get educated and do all of that stuff, and then the pieces fall into place. They fall into place.
Excellent. Excellent.
I don't think there was never pressure growing up that we had to get into the car business.
That's great.
And so I liked that. I think Craig liked that too. And I don't want to put that pressure on them.
Sure.
That way they have to get into it.
Yeah.
But if it falls into place, it falls into place.
That's awesome.
But my oldest, so I have 5, and my oldest is a senior in high school, so it's still pretty early
Yeah.
as to what direction and what they.
You making them do anything around the dealership right now? You making them fill
He-
potholes? Are they out there doing the asphalt?
He has not done potholes. He worked at the car wash 2 years ago.
Okay.
So he's had a little taste of
Yeah. And then
progressive.
ultimately he's going to end up, where he wants to be anyways. Because
Yeah.
that's great. I think that's
Yeah.
really. I'm not a parent, but I really like that parenting style. I would strongly advise it. So I think that's great.
Yeah.
And so, obviously we've talked about a lot of stuff here today, and one thing that a lot of our followers on Instagram comment about and on Facebook and things like that, is our active nature in the community. So I guess what are for those who don't know, what are some things that we've done in the past, or that you guys have done in the past, that you're proud of in terms of helping out in the community?
Well, we've been in business for 85 years. 85 years March of this year. And when we celebrated our 80th birthday, or year of 80 years in business, we did 80 acts of kindness. That's what we call it. So we did 80 different things. Some of them were small, some of them were big. We gave a car away, I think, to the Hunger Task Force to generate money for the Hunger Task Force. We've done things for the Boys and Girls Club in Massillon. We've bought like the grass turf for the Massillon football stadium.
Okay.
I mean, that was something that my dad and my uncle
There's
did
always a
years
hand in
ago.
something though too. Salvation Army.
Salvation Army, for I don't even know how many years, but many years we've had a civic fund,
Yes.
and all of the people that work here contribute 1/4% of their pay, and we don't nominate, but the departments nominate kind of like their representative, and then they meet. We usually do that in October, and we hand out checks like during the holidays or whatever. But I think last year we gave out about $60,000 worth of money, and that was all employee money. That wasn't really like Craig and Tim money.
Sure.
Last year we granted a wish for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We found someone local that had requested a wish, and we were able to support that or provide that wish. I know well here
Oh,
at
there's so
Stark
many.
County
There's so
Fair-
many.
Stark County
Very
Fair.
heavily involved in that.
Yeah, there were a few years ago. Stark County Fair was not doing real well,
Yeah.
and one of the managers at our economy location is on the board of the Stark County Fair, and we started talking, and he wanted to know if there were some things maybe that we could do or whatever. Prior to us getting involved with the Stark County Fair, there was never a kind of like fair sponsor. Like there might have been sponsorships, but there was never like the Stark County Fair brought to you by Progressive Auto
Sure.
Group.
Yeah.
So we figured out a way to make that work, and I think the fair over the last several years has really kind of evolved and grown and done some things that maybe they weren't able to do prior to us getting involved with that.
Yeah.
So we're usually doing something.
Yeah. There's always a hand in something.
We do a
I
lot
agree.
with the hospitals.
Yeah.
The cancer, we last it was last year or 2 years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago or whatever, we teamed up with a local person that has done some business with us that had a Corvette that he wanted to raffle off, but he didn't really have a kind of like a platform
Right.
to use to raffle it off. So we said, here, we'll provide the platform. We have almost 100,000 people in our email database that we can use to help promote this, and it generated, I forget how much, like, well, I think it was over $100,000
Yeah.
that it generated for the
hospitals.
Altman, the Timken Family Altman Cancer Center that they just completed. Like, I think it's
Yeah.
just opening
And
here this
that's
week.
a huge help to the community, and obviously a huge endeavor to raise that kind of money.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. So you, absolutely have done a lot in the community. That's something that I definitely know that's different. Any other place I've worked, we have more community involvement here than ever before, which, is kind of bringing us to this video right now and why we're even doing this, because you guys know we're starting our locally owned, locally grown campaign.
Locally grown, yes.
Yes, and so that's locally owned, locally grown. You get the idea. You get the idea.
Grown,
Grown,
like my bed.
grown.
Not a grown.
So ultimately, with this being the case and this being the effort, so you know what we're doing. Do you want to tell a little bit about it, or you want me to tell a little bit about what we're doing,
I
or
think
what's?
we probably all could talk
Yeah.
about it, but so Progressive Auto Group, we advertise a lot. A lot of people know us. At least a lot more people probably know of us than they do a lot of other local businesses that employ people in Massillon or in Stark County. So we thought, that if we used our customer base and our sort of like marketing power, that we could use this platform to help other businesses within the Stark County area to kind of like communicate their message.
Yeah,
Because a strong Stark County also means a strong Progressive Auto Group.
sure.
A strong Stark County also means great schools, good families, a place to raise your family, where you can have fun. You can just
A sense of community.
a sense of community.
Yeah.
So there are so many businesses in this area that employ a lot of people that nobody even knows
Are
who
here.
they are or what they do or why they do it or where they sell their products or what they make. So we thought maybe this is a way for us to kind of work with other businesses, with other people in the community, so that we can help them promote their jobs that they have, or
Yeah.
there's so many different angles or ways that maybe we could go about this. So we decided we'll do the first sort of like,
Yeah.
I don't know, interview or whatever, and use that as sort of maybe a
pilot.
pilot.
This is our pilot interview.
Yeah. So
Well, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
and I think it's a great campaign, obviously. So I think it's going to do a lot for the community. It's going to connect us and, essentially, bring our neighbors closer together and, like you said, create a huge sense of community and sow those seeds of success all around, I think. So that's pretty cool. I guess that kind of leads me though to, since this is our first one, and technically we're featuring your business, did you want to give us a plug, Craig, on your services offered or anything like that?
Absolutely.
This is your time to shine. This is your free commercial.
So, Craig Sanders, Tim Sanders, Progressive Auto Group. We sell new Chevrolets, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams. And we sell all different types, makes, models of used vehicles. One thing that a lot of people don't know is we have a huge body shop. And our body shop is recommended by almost all of the insurance, auto insurance companies. We have certifications from just about every manufacturer: Honda, General Motors, Nissan, Acura, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. There's just a bunch of different manufacturers that have looked at us and determined these people know how to fix a car right.
Right.
They know how to fix it right. They know how to make it back to how it was prior to the accident. We're very proud of that. And our service departments are able to do an oil change all the way up to high-tech computer diagnostic repairs.
Gotcha.
And everything
So you got it all, right?
We do
Cover
a
the
lot.
whole automotive spectrum
Yeah.
for the most part. So
Yeah.
that's,
And you
that's
can
really
find
good.
us at progressiveautogroup.com or progressivechevrolet.com or progressivejeep.com or economyauto.outlet.com or starwash.com.
And where can we find you on social media?
On Facebook
On Facebook?
or Instagram.
Uh-huh. We're now on TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting crazy here.
TikTok.
Awesome. All right. Well, and is there anything else that you guys would like to add? Because I appreciate your time that you've taken out of your day to sit down with us and answer all these questions that you had no idea what I was asking you. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you trusting me with that.
You were easy on us, Fran.
Yeah, I tried to be. I could have been way harder.
Yeah.
Could have been Barbara Walters
Softball
style.
questions.
Yeah, I could have.
Yeah. You
You're right.
didn't ask me what my favorite ice cream was, though.
I'm so sorry. You're so,
And why?
I'm
And
so
why?
sorry. I'm so sorry. Do you want to tell everyone?
Absolutely. It's peanut butter chocolate, Haagen-Dazs. I don't prefer an ice cream cone. I like it in a bowl.
I like it. And there you have it. That's what we were here for, guys. That's the only reason we came. All right. Well, thank you guys both so much. And that is locally owned and locally grown.